Yeah, hello everybody again. I give you now a brief introduction about AnalyticsCreator, that you have an idea what AnalyticsCreator is doing. AnalyticsCreator is a data warehouse automation technology, which is made special for experts, and also it can be also used without expert knowledge. It works by generating source code instead of programming manually. And AnalyticsCreator orchestrates the full life cycle of a data warehouse, of a data lake, of data marts, and it closes the full process of designing, of develop the data warehouse and do the change management and also the deployment. AnalyticsCreator replaces old-fashioned ETL technologies, and it's up to 10 times faster and has 10 times less costs, let's say. I present you now some use cases which are very common, how to use, in which field you can use AnalyticsCreator. Of course, the easiest one is we have a green field, there is nothing in place. It's the most, let's say, common way to construct a new data warehouse, to design a new data warehouse. Yeah. And also, I would say the other half is there is something in place, and you want to use the existing data warehouse, a part of it, or everything, and you have the possibility with AnalyticsCreator to modernize the architecture, to modernize the speed and to skip from an old approach, for example, from Kimball approach to a data vault approach. And also it's possible to do a bit reverse engineering. Yeah, it's not a full reverse engineering, but what you can do is we are able to extract the code from the old data warehouse and to take it over to the new one, and especially in the modeling of the KPIs and such things, or in the loading procedures. This is possible. This can also support it by an automated way, but there is a bit programming necessary. Very many customers of us have SAP sources, and they like to skip from the BI world of SAP to Microsoft because of many reasons, And there's a full automated approach how we can pick up master data, metadata, and grow up very fast a data warehouse in the Azure cloud or on premises. It's also the next way is for many customers to skip from a data warehouse in the company to a data warehouse in the Azure cloud. We support also with several functionalities this way, and we can do very fast the shift to Azure. Also, more and more customers like to have a real-time data platform. We have some customers which use this way. They have a Dynamics 365 around, and in this case, because this is already in Azure, it's much more easier to get a real-time data platform, and we support also this way. For partners, it's possible to use AnalyticsCreator as a managed service platform that you can manage a lot of customers. So if you have, for example, 10 customers and you have everywhere a data warehouse in place, you can manage with AnalyticsCreator the data warehouse processes, the change management, the deployment, and everything.
Music licensing reimagined.
This is a survey from the company Park. They are analysts, and every year this survey will be done, and we won in 3 years in a row the first place we liked it very much, of course. It's nice. We have a great leading position there. You can also download this survey. You go on our website, you find the download link and fill out the form, and then you can read the survey. It's about 20 pages, very detailed, explained why this is the way, and yeah. So let's talk about our vision. For us, it's really very important that our customers and partners get independent. How this is possible? AnalyticsCreator is a pure design time tool. So a runtime component is not necessary. The most other technologies use runtime components, and you have to use it anytime the data is loading. And with AnalyticsCreator, this is not the case. As said already, it's just used by designing and developing the software. If this is done, you can, for example, delete AnalyticsCreator. AnalyticsCreator don't have to run at the client side. The code is always running on the customer side without any license for AnalyticsCreator. And this is a really nice option for customers and for consultancies. Yeah, there is also a holistic metadata model, which we support, or where the development have to be done. And this metadata model is showing all the entities of the business model and the data model, and these works are close together. And it's nice if you want to skip the technology. For example, you want to skip from on-premise SQL Server to Azure, or you want to skip from Azure to, I don't know, to store the data in a data lake or something else. So you don't have to care about that at the modeling time. Yeah. So if you program it, if you're a programmer and you do the programming manually, you can throw away the most of the code, and you have to do everything new. And this AnalyticsCreator not, because you have the data, the metadata layer, and everything modeled. The whole model is there, and the generator, the analytics generator, generates the source code for each environment, what you prefer at the same time, and this is a really nice feature. Yeah, we focus on 100% on the Microsoft stack, so we put our full energy there, so you have the best results out of the Microsoft analytics area. This is important to know. And we have an open repository. So in the repository, all the metadata is stored of the data warehouse, the modeling itself, and it's possible to develop some add-ons. If you are missing something, or you want to for example, to generate source code for another data warehouse, for another data technology, it's also possible, but you have to do it by yourself. Yeah, this is from my side, a brief introduction. I give the token now to, I don't know, Timo or Natalia.
Yes, thank you, Peter. So, hello everybody, my name is Timo. I am working for Exxeta. First of all, I'm going to share my screen now. So, yes, my colleagues and me, we are from Exxeta. We are a mid-sized consulting company based in Germany. And we like to show today what we have done with AnalyticsCreator. We implemented a data vault technology for big data analysis. And here's our agenda today. We've built a little showcase with analytics data from Microsoft. We implemented a data vault there and an Azure architecture, very complex. My colleagues will go into deep with that. And at the end, we've created a dashboard with Power BI. This is Exxeta, who we are. We are a consulting company founded in 2005 in Karlsruhe, Germany. We are now more than 1,000 employees and placed in 13 locations, so across all over Germany and in Switzerland and Slovakia. We are focused on technology, consulting, financial services, and energy sector. This is our team, the Microsoft Platform and Technology team. We are experts in data engineering, data scientists, software development, especially .NET development, and unified communication and collaboration. This means Microsoft 365 and collaboration, co-working spaces, and so on. Okay, now we start with our showcase. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Max. Max, are you there?
Yes, I'll share my screen. Okay. So yeah, I'd like to show you the showcase now. To implement the showcase, we use AnalyticsCreator. I'll just give a short introduction to our showcase, which technologies we used, what were our data modeling technique, and Natalia will then give you a brief overview of how she implemented the showcase. But yeah, so why did we actually create a showcase? Our MPT data engineering team here at Exxeta is working on a demo environment. First of all, to demonstrate to our customers what technologies we are working with within the Azure environment, and yeah, what kind of best practices are there to build a modern data warehouse. We also want to develop ourselves as a team and use the platform for this purpose. We support our customers in building their analytics platform, so in the Azure environment, from data integration to platform provisioning to analytics use case implementation. So from classic BI to advanced analytics. Yeah, and that's why we built our classic BI showcase to show how a classic data warehouse can be built within the Azure environment. Here the requirement was that we pull structured data from a blob storage, integrated data via data factory with an ETL process, store the whole thing in a data warehouse with the help of Azure SQL DB, and yeah, visualize and provide the data via Power BI. Since yeah, we want to process larger amounts of data in future, we use Data Vault as a data warehouse modeling technique. Because it gives us the possibility to process the data in parallel, but I'll tell you more about this in a moment. To create our ETL process in Data Factory, our data warehouse in Azure SQL DB, and yeah, our tabular model in Power BI, we used AnalyticsCreator to speed up the process and get ourselves up and running quickly. Since there are always recurring tasks when building a data warehouse, we want to use the AnalyticsCreator so that we can define our best practices and then later on be able to quickly implement it with our customers and clients. Yeah, so Data Vault. What is Data Vault? It is a scalable data warehousing technique. It allows to create the data warehouse incrementally, minimizing the effort when adding new data sources to the data warehouse. So here we can see like a high-level architecture where data is stored in a data vault, here called a raw vault, without modification. The business logic is moved to the data mart level, and yeah, this makes the raw data readily available to other data marts as well within the raw vault. Yeah, so these are the main components of a raw vault. So there, you have the hub, which stores yeah, business keys. Business keys, yeah, hardly change. Sorry, Roger, did you say something? No, okay. Yeah, business keys hardly change, and are most stable. Keys are separated from attribute data and stored in key tables called hubs. Hubs are tables of unique business keys that are unlikely to change. And for each record, there's a surrogate key and associated metadata describing the origin of the key. Hubs are connected to each other by link tables or links. These tables contain links or transactions between hubs. They can also contain surrogate keys and metadata associated with the keys. So the hubs and the links therefore create the data relationship, but they do not contain the descriptive attributes. These attributes are then stored in these satellite tables. The attributes also come with metadata about where and when the data was loaded from and until when it was valid, creating kind of like a history of the data at a given point of time. And then there are also reference tables, which are used for frequent references, so business descriptions or lookup codes, for example. So if we take a look at an example of a raw vault data model, it's a very basic example. But first we separate the important attributes into hubs. We have, for example, customer data and order data. These tables are then connected through a customer order link table. And the attribute data for each hub and link is then put into the satellite table and is connected to the parent table. And for example, the currency code would be lookup data in a reference table. But this would be basically a very basic example of a raw vault data model. How does the raw vault ETL work? The general ETL process for the data vault is to load the hubs to generate the surrogate IDs to the business keys, and then next loading any links between hubs, creating surrogate keys for new relationships. Then creating the satellites for all the hubs, and then creating satellites for all the links. And all the data is kept and stored, so there's no cleaning or transformation process, keeping the ETL process simple. Since objects in the layers are never really connected to each other, they can be loaded simultaneously, allowing for concurrent ETLs. And that's why it's also very good for large data sets, because they can be loaded in parallel and not after each other. This would be but in the end, like, you always still need in the end a data mart, so with a classical star schema, since data vault is not optimized to be used for business intelligence purposes. And the hubs and the satellites are building dimensions, and the links in their satellites will be building the facts. And in this layer, the business logic and data cleaning can be done to present the data for the purpose of the end user. And so in the end, then you will still have a star schema on top of the raw vault, and then obviously Power BI or whatever front-end tool connecting to that data mart. So the use case, there's this classic. Used to be for SQL Server was AdventureWorks. For Azure, it's the classic New York taxi data set. We created our first use case, and here we just basically want to analyze the taxi data, so to see which trips are the best within the New York city. How long does a trip take? When is the peak times? Just to create a data model using that data. I think it's quite a large data set as well. I think it was over about a terabyte of data. And so here we wanted to use AnalyticsCreator to build the use case and to quickly get it up and running. And I think now Natalia wants to talk a little bit about how she implemented it. This is basically the high-level architecture of what she did. And I'll pass over to you, Natalia.
Thank you, Max. Hi together. My name is Natalia, and today I will walk you through our showcase. First, we will take a look at the architecture, and then we will check out our systems. First, as you see, we used the system from the Azure stack. So we have the Azure Blob Storage, where we hold our source data. In our case, it is CSV and Parquet files. Then we implemented ETL process using pipelines in Azure Data Factory. The data will be then stored in the Azure SQL database. And finally, the tabular model is created using Power BI services, and we will visualize the data using the dashboard. Here, the big surprise, the pipelines, database structure, the tabular model will be created using AnalyticsCreator, automatically everything. So let's take a look at each of the systems. First, we have Azure Blob Storage. I'm using Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer to manage our storage accounts. It's nothing special here. We have the storage account, underneath is the blob container, and here we have several dimension files. It is, as you see, CSV files. It is semicolon or comma separated. Let's just pick one, and for example, this one shows us a different location in New York. If we take a look at our fact tables, we have here the data from January 2018. We have here something about 20 Parquet files. I will not open them because it's not human readable. But maybe several words about what data we are using here. We have the data from New York taxis about their trips. There you can find how many passengers were transported, from which location to where, so-called pick-up and drop-off locations. Of course, the date and time when it was happening, the distance, trip distance, and of course how much it costed, the total amount, and maybe tips the taxi drivers got. The next system we will take a look is the AnalyticsCreator. We already created the model, but don't worry, I will walk you through the most interesting points of it. First of all, we need to create so-called connection to the blob storage I just showed you. It's nothing special here, the storage account name and the key for it. Then we create the sources. The sources we need to implement here the connector that I just showed you, the path to this CSV file, for example, and all the column names, data types, everything is will be generated automatically. You just need to define which columns will be used as primary keys. For example, for a fact, we used different files from one directory, and as you see, it is Parquet files, so nothing special. The next step is a staging layer. Staging layer is needed to quickly load the data from the source system and to release it. On this level, not so much data transformation is happening. In the model, you see we are using import tables. In these import tables will be used to load the data from the source files into the database. The import tables and the import views, the purple ones, will be created actually automatically using so-called data warehouse wizard. For example, the structure for these tables will be taken from the source definition. When you're using a data warehouse wizard, you can define here what structure do you want to create your model with. For example, we went for a data vault model. That's why these hash keys for each table will be created automatically. If we open, for example, one of them, location, as you see, it is the import table. The structure will be taken from the source table, as I said. At this point, we created some calculated columns. For example, we added the city column as a New York and the country United States. You can see here how this hash key will be calculated. If we are taking a peek at the fact table, we can see here that the hash keys will be created for each foreign key as well. That is important. The next layer is persisted staging layer. It is needed to implement the historization. So at this point, each dataset has two extra date counts, valid from and valid till. It shows if the dataset is up to date or has a historical data in it. The next layer is a core layer. Here is the business layer is happening. So at this point we move from data vault model to the star schema. Practically we have several views, and of course we created several predefined dimensions for date and time, and at this point these views will be created automatically using data warehouse wizard. The only thing we make manually at this point, we defined what keys will be used to join the tables to each other. It could be shown using this joining, how the fact table is joined to each dimension table. What keys I used here, for example, for it. The next one is a data mart layer. This is a practically tabular model, which will be deployed on the Power BI service. And using this tabular model, we will create the dashboard to visualize our data. Every object here is created automatically as well using data warehouse wizard. But we needed some manual adjustments. For example, here you can see from one dimension, location dimension, we have two of them right now, one for pickup location and one for drop-off location. The same we are making with a calendar, for time and date. And the manual adjustments means that you need to conform what keys we'll be using for each dimension. Of course, at this point, you decide what columns will be shown or hidden in the tabular model. For example, we decided to hide all the key columns because it's not very important for analysis purposes. Then we created some measures in the fact table. Here we have two different approaches how you can do it. For example, you can use the predefined aggregational function like sum, where we calculate the revenue if we summarize the total amount of the money we get. And another approach is to write your own DAX statement. For example, here we divide the revenue by trip distance and get the revenue per distance measure. Right. When your model is ready, the deployment takes place. During the deployment, several things, very important things happening. First of all, the database and its structure will be created. So all the objects you see here, starting from the staging layer till the data mart layer, will be created in this data warehouse. So import tables, import views, and all the views here till the data mart layer. Everything will be created automatically. We will take a look. For example, this data warehouse or database was created automatically by AnalyticsCreator. You can see here, for example, import tables and the views, for example, from the import views, core layer views, and of course the tabular model views. First, of course, only the structure for the database is created, so all the tables are empty with no data in it. So the next very important step that will be created during the deployment is the ETL process. Every object for ETL process. We went for Microsoft Azure Data Factory pipelines, so they will be created automatically as well. We will take a look at the main pipeline. It is very simple. For example, first step is to import the data from the source files to the import tables, and after this the historization takes place. As you can see, the fact and dimensions will be processed in parallel, so it will take a bit less time. So if we start this workflow, all of our tables will be filled with data from the source files. And the last thing that is happening during the deployment, the tabular model for Power BI will be created. First, of course, the views, as I said, and the model itself, the data set in the Power BI will be created. You see, the name is the same as a data warehouse. And using this data set, we created a little dashboard to visualize our data. For example, we just chose 3 different dates from the January 2018, and for these days we calculated the revenue, the trip count, revenue and revenue per distance. For example, on Sunday it drops. This chart shows us the trip count flow during the day. For example, here at the 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday, a lot of people took the cabs, and on weekend at the same time, nearly the half of the persons was away from home. This chart shows us the most popular pickup location in the New York, and of course the map shows it as well. For example, we have here JFK Airport, here is the Manhattan with, for example, East Village location, and so on. Maybe the last thing I want to tell you about is the conclusion. In my opinion, AnalyticsCreator is a very powerful tool and pretty easy to use. A lot of predefined functions make it very easy to work with AnalyticsCreator. And the best thing ever, the database, ETL pipelines, and the tabular model for analytics will be created automatically by AnalyticsCreator. So in my opinion, it saves your time and money. I enjoyed working with AnalyticsCreator. And finally, I want to thank you for your attention, and here's our contacts, and don't hesitate, call us or write. Thank you.
So, thank you, Natalia, for your great presentation. Thank you also to Maximilian and Timo. We enjoyed it to see what you've done with this project, and it's a really great project. Thanks a lot. If there are any questions around, we have now time for discussions. I've seen there are some conversations on the chat. We can also talk now. It's no problem if you have questions to Natalia or Maximilian. Just come out and ask.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Natalia. It was great. By side, we started a little discussion in the chat room. So maybe we can bring it now to live chat. If you have any questions also regarding data vault, maybe architecture and star schema, let's discuss it here.
Yeah, Exxeta is our is a good partner of us. They know very exactly and have a very good approach for data vault modeling. So if you have to consider a project doing with data vault, you can contact Exxeta directly, or you contact us, no problem, and we give you the contact details, no problem. So I see now in the chat, Sergey is writing something. Just waiting a little bit. What does it mean? CI, CD management for AnalyticsCreator?
Continuous integration, continuous development.
Well, I actually also have this question, so maybe I will. Or maybe it's a similar one, so I'll try to rephrase it. So does the AnalyticsCreator has some kind of infrastructure as a code part? So does it help to create the cloud infrastructure for the analytical solution?
Sure. Natalia, you want to answer Timo?
I mean, what do you mean exactly? The tabular model for Power BI was created automatically, or didn't I understand your question right?
Hello everybody, I may try to explain. Do you hear me well? So usually you have several branches of development and you develop different columns there. Then at some time you have to merge the changes and it's quite difficult. So how AnalyticsCreator manages this? It would be interesting to know. Sorry if it's a confusing question, but it's quite a mainstream mainstream of problems.
Yes, I do understand you, but I need to forward this question to Dmitry. He has a better knowledge of it.
Music licensing reimagined.
I don't know if he listened. I ping him up. How it's
No,
possible.
sorry, I couldn't connect at the beginning, so I may have missed something. Yeah, sorry if you have been talking about that.
No, not yet. Don't hesitate to ask all the
Dimitri?
questions.
Hi.
Here right now. Okay.
Thank you for the question. Well, we have some capabilities to provide the collaborative work in AnalyticsCreator. First, you can store your repository, because repository, this is a container, this is a database containing the full information about the data warehouse you generate. And you can store your data warehouse definition in the text file, and you can later store this text file, this data warehouse definition, in your preferred version controlling system, and you can merge your changes and so on. There we have some more features which allow you to work together on the same repository. For example, you can log some parts of the repository, you can export some parts of the repository of your data warehouse into the file and import this definition into the new repository. Well, we have some capabilities which will allow you to work together and to merge your changes and to for the collaborative work.
Okay.
Thank you for the answer. It's a big area. Yeah. Thank you. If I may, I would ask a link to some descriptions how they manage it, like help some or maybe some file. If you can share, it would be interesting to read. Thank you.
Music licensing reimagined.
Well, sorry, I have no. At the moment, I cannot show you how it works because I have. But maybe you can try to download AnalyticsCreator and we have some videos where we explain how AnalyticsCreator works and how this collaborative features are working. At the moment, I cannot show you how it works. Sorry.
You said you have some videos about which can give some insights into the DevOps of AnalyticsCreator. No. If you have any links about there, please send. Yeah.
Peter, we have some videos, I think, about the collaborative work, working working together with one project in AnalyticsCreator. Maybe you can share it.
Yeah, I have to look on in which video we show the collaboration things. I don't know exactly, but I will find it and I will send it to Sergey. Yeah, I write it down.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Great presentation. I think. Thank you. And thank you for the answers.
Music licensing reimagined.
Thank you for your questions. Yeah, maybe there are another questions around. Maybe from Leon, he also wrote something. Yeah, if not, then
Artlist.io.
now. No. Okay. All is fine. So he wrote. So I think we don't have any more questions. I can say thanks a lot for joining us, and thank you to Exxeta, to Maximilian, Timo, and Natalia for the presentation. I hope you join us in our next one of our next presentations. We have before the summer we have around 3 live demos in June and starting of July. I think we will do a break in August. We will have, I think, no presentation or just maybe recorded ones, and in September we start again with live demos. And want also to say that please don't miss our annual AnalyticsCreator Congress in November. This is always a very impressive live demo from customers and partners. It takes about 2 days, but just only 3 hours on a day, and not too much. This is something you can easily join us and listen to this. Yeah, thanks a lot from my side too, and thank you to Dimitri and everybody joining us, and hope to see you soon.
Artlist.io.
Bye-bye.
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 Music licensing reimagined.